this is something that I think is real important that I wasn't even going to get into today, but I think this is real important, the use of the diminished scale and how it applies to 2-5-1s and chords in general. When people usually play diminished scales, and the way you see it in the book, that's almost always the standard way you'll see like C, D, E flat, you know. I was taught by not only Randy Brecker, but I also got to play with McCoy Tyner for a few weeks right after Charles Jones' band, and he's the one that kind of straightened me out on this. It's the opposite. It needs to be whole, half, but descending, not ascending. So instead of this is descending. And when you start using that, who's heard the sevenths and thirds resolve? That's kind of a standard. I wish I had the piano for me. Sevenths you resolve to thirds. Well, this mathematically matches up. The C sharp there is the flat seventh of what note? D. What? E flat 7 to the C sharp is, or D flat, depending how you want to say it, is the flat 7 of E flat, and then the last note of the scale, the C again, is the third of the A flat. So if you had a 2-5-1 going, if you had B flat minor, E flat 7, A flat, mathematically it takes care of the 5 and the 1 perfectly. The 7th to the 3rd. So that's one little thing that, and when I was just playing even without the rhythm section for night and day, I'm playing it slow and verbatim for a few reasons. When you start playing like G minor 7, C7, F major, which is the first 4 chords of that song, or 3 chords, I started on the C7. I started on the diminished scale, starting on an A, so that's a 6th degree, going down. What's the B flat in a C7? Flat 7. And then what's the last note of that scale is A. So in an F major, which we're resolving to, what's the A? The 3rd. Good. So mathematically, it lines up perfect. You could be drunk. You could have had 10 shots of Jägermeister and get asked to play this song, and you're not going to mess it up because mathematically, it's like, I'll bet you anybody in this room, no matter how tired you were, how, you know, if you were in a coma for 20 years, you know, if you woke up from the coma and someone said, Frank, what's 2 plus 2? I'd probably still be able to go, 4. Probably, you know. What's 3 plus 1? 4. What's 3 plus 3? 6. So it's like, it's that basic that if you know, first off, how many diminished scales are there really? 3. There's only 3 really, right? So if you know all 3 of them, and you know them descending like that, and I guarantee if you go through any Charlie Parker solo, I mean, all that stuff he's doing, I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound super simple, but if you know your Locrian sharp 2 scale, this is another one that leads into the diminished. That takes care of the minor 2. The diminished takes care of the 7, the 5/7 chord, the flat 5 chord. And then basically, if you have a bunch of enclosures and cool stuff that's really coming out of more classical harmony, Beethoven to you name it. they're basically just, you can pick any note. You'll hear like during all the Bach conventions and symphonias. My degree from DePaul is in classical composition because I like analyzing stuff and I'm kind of a nerd. And so, granted, this is a long-winded answer to your question, but basically, if you haven't studied these, make sure to have some enclosures together. I mean, that's a major scale with 2 enclosures in it, and it's nothing more. And of course, the vibe and energy you put into shaping the sound, which is what we talked about earlier, is really what's going to make it sound like music versus a bunch of notes. But those enclosures and the diminished scale, but being played whole step, half step, whole step, half step, but not starting from the lowest note going to the top, starting at the top note going down. Like even over like a 12-bar blues, just a 12-bar F blues. Scale purposely like a bunch of times in there, but it's not gonna sound round. I remember I had to judge a jazz festival a few years ago. I'm not gonna say which one, but it was a really big one, and there was like almost 100 like college bands and stuff. There was so many people that were blowing over like blues changes that when it comes time to go to the 4 chord in bar 5, I'm hearing nothing different, and it's a different chord. Yeah, you can use the blues scale over it technically. But if I would have just heard a scale like that, I would have been like, boom, outstanding soloist or whatever. And there were some people that were playing